button. Now I want, obviously, once you've done the input, you want to get output. So let's put in a button that's going to output in tabular form. Whenever you're working with a two-dimensional array, they always ask you to output in tabular form. So this is what you have. These are your 20 different marks. How would you go about displaying this in tabular form? Now, I'm going to take you through this process. I think it'll just be a little easier this way, right? I'm just going to talk you through this process and we're going to come up with a solution. So let's look at our rule. In my 2D array, do I want to go to each cell in the array? And the answer is yes. So the rule is bring in your nested for loop. Okay, and then here I'm going to say for C, assign the value 1, 2, 4, do begin. So here's my nested for loop. Okay, and then I'm going to just say end here. That's my inner loop. And I'm going to say end here. That is my outer loop. Okay. So to output, I should have said that you're probably thinking where you're outputting, and I'm assuming you would have figured out that you need a rich edit to do the display if you are working on Delphi. So yeah, we needed to do the button and it's going to be displayed in a rich edit. So let's assume that we got a read out rich edit on our form. Now, if I put in a read out here and I say read out dot lines dot add and I attempt to print ARR marks RC, immediately you should realize that you're going to be faced with a problem. Because when you use a read out, it's going to display the marks like that, one below each other 20 times. And that's not going to give it to me in the tabular form that I want. So using a read out at that point is certainly going to be problematic. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I can erase this. Where's my eraser? Okay, I'm not seeing the eraser here. Okay, so anyway, the point is that the read out does not help me if I am attempting to put the statement inside of that loop, right? Then how else would we do it? The way we would do it is we need to build up a string. We want to build up a string as we are going across a row. And here it is 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. So the row remains fixed and the column changes. So this is this inner loop that goes 4 times. So let's create an accumulator. I'm going to create an accumulator variable and I'm going to, let's call the accumulator str and I'm going to set it to nothing. Okay, so I'm creating a string accumulator. So set this accumulator to nothing. And in here, in the inner loop, I'm going to start accumulating. str equals str plus, you know that's the accumulator, right? So what do you want to accumulate? ARR marks R, comma, C, and immediately some of you all are saying, but ARR marks is an integer and str is a string. In your variables section, you declare str of type string. So immediately, what do I need to do to ARR marks? I need to go from an int to a string there. Okay, so what this is going to do, it's going to accumulate each of the marks, but what I'm missing is this tab space. So let's put in a plus a hash 9. So that hash 9 is going to give me a tab space. So how is this going to work? I start off with the string that has nothing in it. R is 1. So I'm going to be working with row 1, and C, remember, is going to go 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go 4 times. And each time it's going to accumulate 1, 1, 1, 1. It's accumulating the value in 1, 1. And it's going to put a tab. And then when C is 2, it's accumulating 1, 2. And then it's accumulating 1, 3. And it's accumulating 1, 4. So in that way, it would have accumulated this entire row. That row would have been accumulated. So when I come out of the loop, at this point, I've got this entire row accumulated. At this stage, I can say readout.lines.add, and I can display my str, which has row 1. So that has row 1. So you come out of that loop and display row 1. Then I hit the end and I have to go back up to my R loop. And R now becomes 2. Remember, R was 1. Now R becomes 2. And we're going to come in and C is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And this time we're looking at 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and 2, 4, which is the second row. And then when that finishes, we are going to output. Okay, is that going to work? Is that going to work? I'm hoping some of you are thinking, when I was accumulating the second row with C changing, my str still had the first row in it. So what was happening, it was accumulating row 1 and row 2 at the same time. So, because remember, we already printed row 1. So maybe we should not be setting that to null at that point, but now we set str to null inside the first loop. So what's going to happen when R is 1, for example, the string is set to null and C changes 4 times and it gets the first row. It prints that first row. We go back up and R now becomes 2. It resets the string back to null. And then it goes 4 times and gets the second row because R is now 2. It prints the second row. Back up, reset the string to 0. R is 3. C goes 4 times, prints the third row. Go back up, R is 4. Reset to 0. C accumulates row 4 and displays it. And lastly, that happens for row 5.